right, what's going on, y'all? So today I'm going to take y'all through a full day of eating now that I'm 14 weeks out from the 100K Ultramarathon. I've got a pretty intense day of hybrid training planned out, so this is going to be a great day to take y'all through what I'm eating currently. So this morning we've got an easy 6 miles on the trails. We're getting ready to step out for that. And this afternoon I've got a pretty intense full body lifting session. So before this run right now, this is technically now meal one. If you guys saw my last full day of eating video, you know that I was having just a simple shake before these runs. I was doing just some protein powder with cholesterol reduction carb powder. I was burning through that. If you guys have seen the last several videos, you know that on these runs with the amount of muscle tissue I've got and everything, I've just been blowing through calories and dropping weight way too fast. So I beefed up this meal one. So what we've got now for meal one, if it's a shorter run, so shorter run being, you know, a run that's like 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 miles, what I do is 2 of these instant oatmeal flavored packets. So this morning I've got apple and cinnamon. Usually I go with the maple brown sugar, but on shorter runs I'm doing 2 of these packets. If it's a medium or longer run like yesterday, I'm adding to it with just some non-flavored quick oats. So for example, yesterday I did 2 of those 2 packets with 40 grams of added oats, and then what I do every morning along with the oats is about 40 grams of protein from protein powder. So this is now technically meal one. You know, my first kind of big meal is after the run, but this is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger depending on how many miles I'm doing. So this is what I've got set up right now for meal one. For the shorter runs, anything medium, long distance, like anything like over, you know, I'd say 9, 10 miles, this really gets beefed up. But that's what we're working with right now. I'm not doing any intra-run nutrition this morning, so this is gonna be meal one. The next meal I'll catch y'all for will be after the run when we get back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this down now, and we're gonna get on the trails and get it done. All right, what's going on, y'all? So we just finished up that 6 mile run, and I just wrapped up making meal 2. So meal 2, this is something that I've got in my base diet. My base diet meaning that 95% of the days, unless, you know, I'm out, you know, being, you know, flexible with a cheat meal or something like that, I'm gonna eat it. So this is one of my favorite meals, especially for my like breakfast meal. All it is 250 grams of egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and then 250 grams of hash browns. And I use the Simply potatoes. These right here, super easy to whip up. But this right here with the eggs and then some ketchup on top, definitely my favorite kind of go-to breakfast right now. So this is meal 2. Is kind of the first like real meal. This is kind of typically what I would have considered meal 1, but now this is meal 2. We've got 250 grams egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and then 250 grams of potatoes. And I love getting this down right after the runs. So this is something that is always going to stay in. If anything, you know, the potato amount is going to boost up, the carb amount is going to boost up, but other than that, this stays in pretty much every day. So this is meal 2. I'm going to go ahead, throw the ketchup on, get this down, and then I'll catch you guys for meal 3. All right, so now we've got meal 3. So one food that I neglected essentially over the last 4 years, my time solely focused on competitive bodybuilding, was tacos. You know, back in the day when I was ultra running and then hybrid training, I used to eat tacos all the time. I freaking love these. If any of y'all are from Texas, you know that HEB has some of the best tortillas. These tortillas seriously make these tacos. So what I've got here, I've got steak, chicken, and cheese tacos. So essentially what I did, I whipped up the chicken first, then I threw in the steak with the diced onions and jalapenos, and then at the end I throw on some of this double pepper cheese. This is so good. It's got Monterey Jack, jalapenos, and habanero peppers. Super good. And then at the end I just top it off with, y'all already know Melinda's. I use this on pretty much everything. So Melinda's habanero honey mustard. So that's what we've gotten. Then for a drink, I actually found this in the grocery store the other day, and it's actually pretty good. It's organic banana milk chocolate. It essentially tastes like a banana chocolate milk, but the ingredients on it are all really good, natural, everything. So that's what I'm working with for meal 3. I'm gonna go ahead and get this down and then give y'all a recap of how this week's worth of training went. All right, so now let me give y'all a recap on how this week's worth of training went for the 100K. We're now 14 weeks out from the Desert Wolf 100K, And prior to this week, we essentially spent 6 or 7 weeks rapidly building up mileage. If y'all followed along, you know that about 7 weeks ago, I came off from, only doing bodybuilder training for the last 4 years. And then I've rapidly built up my mileage to a peak mileage of last week of 36 miles. So then this week, I rolled into Monday. We had on the plan to still be building miles this week, but rolled into Monday, absolutely wrecked. My legs, especially my feet, I was literally limping when I got out of bed. So my feet, the bottom of my feet were like hot spots or bruises, but still went out and did the prescribed run on Monday, which was just a 7 mile easy run. That did not help things. So then Tuesday was even in worse shape. It was just a 5 mile run that day. But then after that run, I just decided to call it and make this week an impromptu deload week. So, we'd essentially spent, 6 or 7 weeks building up mileage. So this was a perfect spot for us to put a deload in, and I definitely needed it. So pulled mileage back with this morning 6 mile run. We had a 10 mile run yesterday. That put us at 28 miles for the week. I'll go and throw the Strava for this week up so y'all can see it. But that's how things went. So deload this week. I even pulled some training volume back on the lifting side as well. But with that, my body feels incredible now. I'm incredibly fresh. I feel fresher than I have in a long time. And it showed too with yesterday's 10 mile run and then the 6 mile run this morning. Everything's just feeling better and better and better. And then the body also feels fresh on the strength side as well. So the deload definitely did what I wanted it to do. So now starting this next week, now we go back into another building phase. So starting next week, it'll be another 6 weeks of building up mileage pretty rapidly before a prescribed deload. So we're going to have 40 miles next week, and it's going to only go up, I believe we get to, I want to say mid 50s, if not 60 miles before the next deload. And then we keep going up from there. So we still ramp up, but this week was a little bit of a pullback, which was absolutely needed. The body definitely needed the recovery, and that way it gives my body time to, make the adaptations needed for the training and all that. And so with that, my weight is still coming down. If y'all follow along, I started at 230 when I started running. And weight has been so stubborn. My strength numbers have been really holding in the gym, even with me pulling volume back. And because of that, I've been holding on to pretty much all of my muscle tissue. And I'm at a fairly lean point already. So weight's been holding very, very sticky, which right now I'm trying to streamline down to probably more of like a 200 to 210. But with that being said, I did lose some weight this week. I'm down to 222 this morning. I'm thinking tomorrow it'll be more like a 223, but we lost some weight. So it's coming down. It's coming down, very, very slowly, but it's coming down steadily. And frankly, that's the right way to do it. It's the healthy way to do it. And that way I'm still able to have enough calories in place for performance, both on the running and the lifting side. But that's how this week's training went. We're 28 miles. Next week's going to be 40. But definitely a good week of training. I've got one more training session, which is this afternoon. It's a full body session, and then tomorrow's a rest day. So that's going to wrap it up. But I'm going to go ahead. I've got a little bit more work to do, and then I'll show you all what we're working with for meal 4, the pre-workout meal. All right, so here we got meal 4. So meal 4, this is my pre-workout meal. We're getting ready to go to the gym right now. I've got a pretty big, long, full body session coming up. But this is another one of those meals that's locked in on my base diet. So this meal rarely ever changes. I pretty much have this every single day without fail as my pre-workout meal. The only thing that really changes with this is the amounts, and then sometimes I swap out what type of fruit I use. But I love having a Protein bowl before I go to the gym. It keeps my energy sustained throughout the workout, but more importantly than that, it keeps me full. So I'm not really hungry throughout the workout. So what I got here for today's Protein bowl, I've got 100 grams of oats. I've got about 40 grams of protein from protein powder. And then today I went with a banana. So I've got 75 grams of banana. So I'm going to go ahead and get this down. And then I'll show you all what we're working with after the gym for the intra and the post-workout nutrition. And then we got some more eating to do after that. So I'm going to get this down, and then I'll catch y'all after the workout. All right, so we just finished up that workout. So that was a full body workout. So last week I programmed 2 different full body workout variations, a full body A and a full body B. Both of them have just very slightly different focuses, but they both target the full body and maximize my time at the gym. I leave the gym feeling completely annihilated after these sessions, but they're extremely efficient. So I'm not making these essentially my main split. So I'm not putting the full body A and full body B in every week, but I am employing it in certain parts of my split. So I'll be talking to y'all here pretty soon, probably in the next few videos, about these full body workouts and kind of my updated split. But it really is maximizing my time while still allowing for the appropriate amount of volume I need, and of course the intensity. So the intra workout nutrition. So what I did in there is what I typically do. I had my EAAs with 25 grams of carbs. That's with the cholesterol reduction carb powder. So I had that for my intra, and then on the way out of the gym, I had about a scoop and a half of whey isolate protein powder. And that's it. So that was just my intra and my post-workout. I don't really count this intra and post-workout shake as an actual meal. So now I'm having 5 meals plus one, plus my peri-workout nutrition. So 5 plus 1. I was having 6 plus 1, my entire time bodybuilding up until a few weeks ago. But if you guys haven't seen now, I'm eating much more intuitively. So I'm still tracking everything. I still use MyFitnessPal, and I'm still tracking pretty much everything I eat, unless it's like a meal out or something like that. But I don't have any specific macro or calorie goals. So I'm essentially just tracking just because I like to log everything. I'm kind of a data nerd, so I log everything from training to supplementation to diet. So but with that being said, I'm eating much more intuitively now. So I do have a base diet written out with some of the meals that y'all have seen today, but pretty much every day now is looking different. So my rules, the first main rule is protein focus. So every meal, first think about the protein, and then making sure that I do hit, macro minimum goal of 240 to 260, 270 grams of protein per day. So that's the one macro that I do have a very set in goal. Other than that, I'm pretty carb focused. I enjoy carbs over fat, so it's easy for me to be high carb, low fat, which is what I need for my training anyway. But other than that, those are kind of my rules that I've got set in place. And then with that, I'm using the scale, the mirror and check-in pictures, and then performance to then dictate essentially how much food I'm eating each day. So if the scale's going up in not a good direction, which it hasn't been frankly this entire time, then I would back off the food. But each day I'm kind of taking it a lot more flexible than I have in the past, and I'm enjoying it a ton, and performance is holding great, and I'm bringing weight down at a very, very kind of steady level while enjoying everything I'm eating. So that's how I'm doing it now. Everything now is going to be intuitive. I am still going to track what I eat, but that's just more for data purposes more than anything. But that's how I'm doing things. So now we're going to get back, and then I'm going to show y'all what we're working with for meal 5. All right, so I've got meal 5 whipped up. So I typically have meal 5 about an hour or so after I get done training. And I've got my chicken egg fried rice bowl tonight. So I typically have this 3 or 4 nights of the week. This is definitely one of my staples. I absolutely love this bowl. So tonight what I'm working with is 100 grams of jasmine rice, 2 whole eggs with 50 grams of egg whites, 100 grams of chicken breast. And what I do is I whip all that together, some salt and pepper, and then finish it off with teriyaki sauce and sriracha. And this thing is absolutely bomb. The macros on it are great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this down, and then tonight, I typically at night, usually about an hour or so after I have this meal, I'll have some snacks. Usually it'll be a little bit of gelato, some Siete chips, or my latest kick, and what I'm having tonight is Bobo's PB&J, and then a Bobo's apple pie. And these things are just like little oats bars, but they're absolutely bomb. They taste great, and it's really, really good ingredients too. So I'm going to do one of each of these tonight as kind of my late night snack. But that'll wrap up everything I'm eating today. So I'll go ahead and throw the macros up on the screen. I'll throw the MyFitnessPal macro breakdown for y'all. Typically my macros right now, I'm typically having about a 50-30 80-20 split, 20% fat being the absolute most. So 50% carbs, 30% protein, and then typically 15 to 20% will come from fat. But I'm still keeping this very, very, very carb focused. Fat's definitely on the lower end, but like I said, you know, I'm not someone that craves a lot of fatty foods. I typically like carb foods, which works out great with the training and all that. But that's gonna wrap up today's full day of eating. We're 14 weeks out from the Desert Wolf 100K. So we're really, really ramping things up now. Next week, we're actually gonna be traveling, but we're ramping up to 40 miles. So it's gonna be a great week. That's gonna wrap up today's full day of eating. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Be happy, be positive, be powerful, and have a great rest of your week.